Oh, okay. Just a minute.
How'd you get at the mustache?
I went down there and I knew one of the players and Bill Clark on tuba. And he says, "You play banjo, why don't you come on down?" So I did.
Now, why'd you start playing banjo?
I did that in college, just for the hell of it.
Really?
Played in some polka bands.
See, because Barry's, I guess, kind of the only one I sort of knew. Like, I have no idea how Mike Gentry, pick up the banjo. Barry, I know, picked up the banjo, as far as I know, because he was already working around the mustache. And that may not be true.
I knew Gentry and I knew Buck Kelly, and I don't know if you heard of him. He's
Nah.
a hell of a banjo player, but he's in the Hall of Fame now. But
Yeah.
I knew Gentry, of course, and Bill Clark, who was a tuba player, and a lot of LeBeau,
Mhm.
Condry, and one thing led to another, and I got to the mustache.
If I were doing it all over again, I think I would have asked the banjo players to have a weekly or bi-weekly class where any interested employees could come and start learning if they wanted. I don't know why. I mean, it never would have occurred to me in a million years back then. I think it had only passed through my head a time or two, like, geez, maybe I ought to, try picking up the banjo, but I never,
Well, I'm not a lead player. I'm a rhythm player.
Mm.
Strictly a sideman.
Mhm.
Now here comes Billy, because I can see Billy signs in with my sign in so he can do some of the pictures, which, yeah, we're running out of pictures. We don't know what else to put up anymore.
Okay, it's not letting me, oh, there's my camera.
Hey, Bill.
There it is.
Yeah.
Hello, Bill.
It wouldn't let me put my own face on there. Like Tom's better.
They don't know.
Hello.
So, Bill, I was thinking about you. Did you watch Annie live?
No, I didn't.
Really?
No.
But with Harry Connick playing Daddy Warbucks?
I watched part of it.
Yeah, I don't remember there was something else I was
The
doing.
football game was
I didn't
on.
get a chance to see it.
The Thursday night football game, the Saints were on.
That was probably it,
Yeah.
which was a waste of time. But anyway.
Yeah. Wow. What'd you
Yeah,
think of
would've been fun
Annie,
seeing
David?
Harry Connick Jr. bald headed, but
Yeah.
I don't know if did he really shave his head or he wore one of those skull caps.
I think he wore a skull. I think he wore a hat.
that's
I
what
do
mean.
saw my stylist.
That's right. Yeah. 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 So, yeah. You have a good looking bald head though, Snake. Like some people's are kind of lumpy and but some people's get a nice round symmetry to it, just like.
Well, nothing I can do about it. I got my first baldy in the service and never came back.
Wow. Yeah. I used to get crew cuts. My dad used to make us get crew cuts every summer when school was out. That we didn't have an option. It was just like scalped. It was just like a child of the 50s. That's how we wore the hair back then.
And in high school, I had a blonde flat top.
Oh yeah. Did you have to use any of that butch wax in it, or it stand up by itself?
No, I used a little bit wax.
Butch wax. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That stuff was impervious to any kind of water or anything. I mean, once you got your hair trained with that butch wax, like you could, can impale somebody on it.
I think I got something here that. I can find it.
I'm assuming you're looking for a picture.
Yeah.
Okay. I was
Okay.
gonna say, you don't have any butch wax hanging around, do you?
I bet you they probably still sell it,
This was my this was my college graduation picture.
He is.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah,
Damn.
very distinguished.
Did you double as Buddy Holly on your off days?
Hello, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
How you
Hi,
doing,
Chris.
gang?
All right. What's it cooking, man?
Yeah, Chris, I watched some of your videos. They're really good.
Oh, thank you. Well, you
Hey,
know,
Chris,
how you doing? We've been at it a day and a half. You know what they say.
Yeah. Well, it just brought me back memory. The PBS just studios brought me back memories of I came to Maryland from Louisiana Public Broadcasting. I came to Maryland to do all their membership drives. And
Oh, really?
uh
Now, who did you work with Mike Steyer back then, or was Linda there already? Linda Taggart.
I think she came after I was there. No, Mike Stiers was there, and it was a great situation.
Yeah.
I had come up. I was working in Louisiana, and we got a new boss, and the Louisiana network was all part of Louisiana Health Network, which was a bunch of old men who dealt with dead bodies. So I was
Yeah.
the only young producer there. And this new guy, Mac Wall from Mississippi, comes in and he says, "Oh, I want to send you to some other stations to learn." I go, "Fine." So he gave me the choice, and one of them was Maryland. So I called up to Maryland and I talked to them because they gave me a week to come up there. And the Maryland guy said, Paul Breeding said, "Hey, you got to come up for 2 weeks." I go, "Well, they're only paying for one." "Well, just come up and stay at my house."
Oh,
The guy knew me from nobody. So I did. And so I spent a week at Maryland and a week in DC because they had a big shoot going on down there. And then I went back to Louisiana, and about a year later I quit. I left to be a freelancer, and I had just I'm sitting in a house that cost $32,000. I had just sent $25,000 to Sony for a camera, and I'm sitting here going, holy fuck, what did I do? And the phone rings, and it was Maryland Public TV, and they said, "Hey, we got this, we need a freelance director to come up for membership drives." And I go, "Well, let me check my schedule." There was nothing on that schedule. So I said, yeah, I can do that. So I drove up there, and my poor wife, I had an MGB that I bought, and I blew up the engine, and I was fixing it. So I was going to leave that for her to drive, and I was going to take the other car up, and I never got it fixed. So she ended up on the bus. She's a good sport. But but PBS was great. It was great training ground for me.
Oh, yeah. Good people, and they had a good cause, and they still do. And I'm still doing it, actually. When I get a chance, we haven't gone back into the studio yet to do a new show, but we're still running the old shows and promoting them, and I'm doing appearances around and stuff like that, just to.
But I was jealous. It looked really good. I mean, everybody loves cooking, and you're a jovial host, so I enjoyed them. I sat there. I was going to watch just 5 minutes of it, and I just sat there and watched the whole thing.
Well, do you ever get the urge to do a little banjo picking while you're waiting for the stuff to cook or anything?
No, I never do.
Oh, okay. I think just throw it in there, man. It would floor people. They say he plays banjo too. Damn.
Actually, on one pledge drive that we did one time, I had my Dixieland band come in, and we did a few numbers, but it was not related to cooking. So.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you could make shortening bread and do that song.
Right. There you go. recipes from the Dixieland repertoire.
That's right. Yeah.
When you're talking about
Chris,
fundraising drives, I'm working at Maryland. I'm getting paid, per day. And I come home after one of the nights, and my wife said, "Oh, I joined." I go, "You what?" I said, "Stu said you needed one more person." I said, "Stu says that every night." Oh, okay. So then I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, I'm making $250 and I'm deducting $100 for them. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I usually sign up for the PBS membership drives. I usually sometimes I'll do enough to get one of those little perks. Other times I just kick in whatever I feel like, but I do get my money's worth out of PBS,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And also NPR, the local affiliate of that. I kick in for that too. I enjoy it.
Hey, I'm a monthly subscriber to the New Orleans station, even though I live in Maryland.
Yeah, yeah.
Chris, when did you pick up playing banjo?
In 1966.
In
Which is-
college?
Yeah, I went to the Mustache to get a job as a waiter.
Oh,
And
that's right.
and
Okay.
they said, we don't need any waiters, we need banjo players. And at the time I was playing like folk music. I was doing like Pete Seeger and, you know, Where Have All the Flowers Gone and all that jazz.
Mhm.
And I figured, well, how much different could it be? I got to be able, you know, it's chords, right? I knew that. So I said, well, I play the banjo, and the rest is history, because they set me up on the stage and I just made believe I was playing, and the banjo player was Ron Bizel, and he was busy. He wasn't paying any attention to me. And at the end of the set, they said to him, well, how did he do? And Ron said, yep, yep, okay. He was okay. Yep, yep. Which is what Ron said to everything, as I learned later, you know. It's a good thing that Gim Burton wasn't on the banjo that night, on the stage that night, because he would have, you know, turned me over to the feds there, you know.
Yeah.
So I got the job, and then I practiced, and I got Mel Bay's chord book, and a fake book, and I just started working my way through all the tunes.
Yeah.
You play tenor, don't you, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we call it, real banjo. As we call it, real banjo.
Oh, real banjo. I got 5 plectrums.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't go down that path. When I was working there, I could sing and I knew all the words of the song. So when Vince Vance, the guy who played, went off to be Vince Vance, quit, I started playing washboard because I knew the words to the songs. You know, I could keep a beat, thing, you know. And Les Muscat was trying to teach me how to play the banjo. I even got for Christmas, I got my dad to buy me a 4-string jazz banjo. And I never did get good at it, though. Barry Foulon came back from the show band by then anyway. So I said, well, but I guess if I wasn't in college and trying to go off and be a film editor, I may have, you know, applied myself, you know, but at that time I was married, had a kid, was going to college and working 6 nights a week, you know, so it was went to practice banjo, you know. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, I was a sophomore in college, and I was it was the summer after my sophomore year, and that's when I went to get a job because I didn't have any more money. I was done. I was going to have to drop out of school.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I got that job and was able to make enough money that summer to get me through the whole year.
Right.
And kept playing too, because I didn't want to give it up. I kept going in. I was playing at night and going to school in the day and sleeping next Tuesday.
Yeah, but that's when you could pay for college with a job. Now these kids, I feel so bad for them.
Oh yeah, back then UNO was like $250 a semester for taking 12 hours.
Yeah,
you know, for Louisiana residents, you know, and then the books weren't exorbitant.
right.
You know, you could go to the bookstore and find somebody selling their old books and not have to buy new ones. You know, well, Tom and I were at UNO together. We both, upon graduation, both went to Channel 26, a local TV station. I was working,
which was one of the greatest jobs besides the mustache. It was one of the greatest jobs.
It was a great job.
As long as you'd work under 30 hours, so they didn't have to pay you benefits, and for minimum wage, you had a job. And we just did all kinds of stuff, you know. Whereas you go to the big stations, the union stations, you'd have to do one little thing.
Yeah.
But you know, after a while, you need a little money, so you move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I learned on a baritone uke. Still plays Chicago style.
Is that like a pizza?
No, it's like top four of guitar.
Okay. So Chicago has a different style of jazz, banjo than
Well, it's called Chicago tuning,
Chicago tune. Okay.
right, Chris?
Yeah, because it's the guitar tuning instead of
Oh, okay. The first four strings of a guitar rather than my dog has fleas.
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably would have done better because I knew how to play guitar, but I was trying to tune it to theirs, which so the chords were all different, you know. But yeah, I didn't think of that. I could have just done the first four strings of the guitar.
You could have said I play Chicago style.
Well,
Now
you
we're
wouldn't have been
Chicago
the only one. I mean, there were others that played.
Barry does that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different tunings. Yeah.
Okay. No, because Les Muscat was trying to teach me, and I picked up a few chords and stuff, but it was the strumming that I was having trouble getting. And he described it to me. He says it's like you're trying to flick something off your fingers. The way he would play it, he says it's not like you're strumming. It's like you're trying to get rid of something that's on the tips of your fingers. But when Les would play, I mean, you really he wouldn't move anything. The only thing that'd be moving on him is his hand. He was just stoic, you know, but his hand was moving incredibly fast, you know.
He was a great player. Great player.
Yeah. But anyway,
Well,
I did pull up some more clips off of the 50th anniversary thing. Did you find some stuff, Tom? Did you?
well, yeah, I found I was thinking about John. And so I came up with this one clip, which is part of If I Can Make It Work Right.
John Murata, yeah.
Is it playing?
I'm
We
seeing
just got
card. It's a
Oh.
still image of the card.
Okay.
I had another heart operation. Been in
Turn your picture
rehab.
on, John. Turn your
But
Have
picture
the
on.
camera on.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking for it. Hold on.
Bottom left,
There
bottom
it is.
left.
There it is.
There we
I'm
go.
still alive. I had 12 lives when I started talking to you guys way back. I'm down to 11. Those mothers can't keep me down. My cardiologist says, how the hell, I just saw you last week, tested you, your heart was great. I says, it was. I came in here, you told my daughter not to worry, and then you go in and you find out that the vein from my heart to my brain isn't open. So now you opened it, and all of a sudden I can see and I can feel, and you sons of bitches, for 5 years I've gone to you and said, I'm dizzy. 5 years I've been falling. 5 years I asked you, tell me what's the problem. And the problem was I wasn't getting any blood to my brains.
Yeah.
I got up and I tap danced for the mother.
Good for you.
Well, according to Jeff, that's been going on for like 30 years, John.
What, tap dancing?
No, you didn't get any blood in your brain.
Oh,
Hopefully
that's
you're still getting blood in your pants.
I don't doubt that. But the problem is this time I was falling.
Yeah.
When I fell, I tripped. I broke my ribs, 3 ribs on the left side. The doctor's report was unknown damage to the right side. And I broke my back in 2 places.
Oh, gee, how the hell did that happen?
Fell and I hit the tub.
Oh,
I
gee.
got a brace on.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Don't worry, buddies. I still got 11 lives and I'm going to outlive all of you guys.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
I don't
I'm going to dance all along. And my doctor says he doesn't understand how I could live. I said, that's because I don't believe in doctors. I think I told you
That's the
guys.
secret right there.
When I was 14, a doctor told my mother and me that I was going to die when I was 30. And the way out, he made my mother cry. On the way out, made my mother leave first. And I turned around. I said to him, fuck you. I'm going to piss on your grave. I was 21. I was senior. I was graduating the last college football game I played in. Twisted my knee, went to the famous doctor from Poland who knows all about Saucony. He says you're going to be walking with the cane by time you're 30. You're going to be in a wheelchair by time you're 30. I said, fuck you. Third doctor I went to when I was 29, he said,
There he
you'll
is.
be blind in your right eye. So don't
I have an
worry.
idea.
So I told him,
There you go.
fuck you. Well, he was the only one who was right. And so what that proves is only 30% of the doctors know what the hell they're talking about. So the next time you go to the doctor, you say, are you one of the 30% that knows what he's talking about? I'm telling you, I'm so fed up with doctors.
But you're looking good.
I feel great. They put blood to my brain.
And you put some in your pecker.
Forgot about
Hold
that.
on a
Tom,
second.
thank you.
No, I haven't had any of that in my long time.
All right, so
That was cool.
That was a nice clip.
now I got to get back to.
Is John gone?
Yeah, that was fun having a clip of him and Jeff and yeah, when John and Jeff were on, it was like a ping pong match, you know.
Did it work okay?
Yeah, it looked great.
Oh, good. Okay.
Hey, Gim,
Yeah,
good to see you.
I just thought it was a good time to dedicate
There we
it to
are.
John.
Mhm.
Jim, how you
Did
doing?
I show up yet? Did I show up? 'Cause-
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're there.
I see you
Okay.
again.
Oh, there I am. I got it now. Cool. Hey, I had a gig this afternoon. How about that, Jeff?
How'd it go?
Hey, it was fine. They love us. We're playing for the old people now mostly. I haven't played in a club in a long time. Everything is in private homes or lawn parties or country clubs or something like that. This one was in a how can I say this? An assisted living place, and we played all the old songs. So they're the only people left that remember this stuff.
You're right.
Yeah.
Playing for the old folks at home.
That's it, baby.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, it's good you got a job. So
It's true. It's true. I mean, it's been a long 2 years without any work. Now
Yeah.
it's sort of coming up a little bit. Of course, this other COVID thing now gonna cause a problem. I hope it doesn't scuttle the business.
Omicron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many Greek letters we got left? Huh?
I don't know. Omega's the last one, right?
I forget. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, whatever that after
Yeah, I
that.
remember Charlton Heston was the Omega man, so I remember that being the last man. So that's yeah. Yeah. I was wondering,
Charlton
would-
Heston. My
any
word.
mustache guys in this group? Yeah.
I can't tell.
Yeah, how can you tell?
What was the occasion?
I don't know. I just saw old guys with a banjo, and maybe you thought it was.
Old guy with a badge.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Two
okay.
Two saxophones on the bass. Well, all right.
Yeah.
Different arrangement.
Gim, when did you start playing banjo?
When I was 15.
Really?
Yep. It's I did it to impress a girl, actually.
did it work?
Actually, it worked too. Yeah. That was,
Okay.
yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
So
Started in a country band on 5-string banjo, and
okay.
yeah, then I took off the 5th string and turned it into a plectrum, and started with all the old songs at that point, even. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I found another clip with Joel talking. I mean, some old stories, and it's kind of hard to hear because there's a lot of ambient noise. But he does talk about Gim Burton being his first banjo player and some
Oh,
other,
yeah?
you know, see if I can pull that up. Share screen, let's see. Advanced. It just can take me a second to find it. Y'all carry on. Let's see.
Not a
Yeah, so if
problem.
anybody finds any more pictures or recordings or anything, because we're recycling a couple times now.
Yeah, I was,
That's okay. That's okay. At our ages, the memories are bad anyway. So, you know, everything you see is fresh material.
Isn't that the truth, Kim? I told my wife, you know, we were watching TV and she says, I think we saw this before. I said, how would I know? You know, it's all, I can watch everything over and over again. It doesn't make any difference.
yeah.
Well, that's one of the nice features of Alzheimer's, right? You meet new people every day.
Absolutely.
Well, people with Alzheimer's will tell you the same story 3 times in the same conversation too, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Let's see if this will work. Okay. Y'all recognize this guy?
Magnificent things to talk about with regard to your father's birthday. And I'm so very glad that I was involved at that time. Let's see, also one more. First two. Oh, no.
Okay. That's Don Draper.
Tim Burton was our first banjo player. And on opening night, we didn't have a piano player.
Oh, no.
That's normal. And
we never had a normal.
And we didn't have a trombone player that either. A few years later, but Carpenter was just banging nails in the bar. He said, I play the piano.
What are we missing?
On stage, he played the piano for about a month and a half. No, I don't know how many of you remember the first Cape Cod venue, but there was a foyer. And you had to go through the foyer and to get up the stairs and come back. Well, my tuba was up in the front room, and I was usually late. So I would dazzle who was ever in the front foyer. I'd jump up, grab the ceiling, grab the railing, and jump over. Those are the days. If there's no elevator, I'm screwed. Thank you, Joel.
Who is that big guy?
Don Brayton, tuba player, bass player.
Yeah, Joel said he was the very first one, huh?
He was I forget whether he was first night or not. He probably was. He was either in school or working at MIT at the time. He's a nuclear engineer, I believe. He lives on the West Coast now.
He was pretty tall.
6'7" or so. And when he came to my house, he had the duck. I remember that. And
well, my peak height, I was 6'8".
I'm sorry, you here?
I see. At my peak height, I was 6'8".
Really?
Yeah. I'm down to about 6'6" now or 6'5". I don't know.
Oh, well, that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, as you grow older, you will get shorter.
Yeah.
And your feet will get bigger.
Yeah,
it kind of all settles, you know what I mean?
That's discouraging when you start off at 5'8". So
yeah, well, I was 6 feet once, and now I'm 5'10". So
yeah.
Well, so then I came across this picture of David and Roger, and David's a faithful Zoomer, so I thought I'd throw that up for a minute.
That's cool. That's a nice picture.
It's Barry Kaiser.
Barry Kaiser did those for us, and he was one of the waiters.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that was a beautiful bar too. I wish we had I think we have a picture kind of like has more of the bar in it, but it's of course that burned to ashes, you know.
Yeah, I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nice back bar though. There was a a guy called the Raging Cajun in New Orleans who all he did was buy back bars, and he had them in a warehouse, and he would sell them, and he would move them around the country for different bars that wanted them. He had
Interesting.
quite the business.
Yeah.
The Raging Cajun was one of my favorite saloons in Houston. I wonder if there's any relationship between the two.
I don't know. This guy was he was an antique dealer in New Orleans. He was kind of a
Interesting.
crazy guy. So I think he just came up with Raging Cajun.
Yeah.
That's a-
Here's another song from the band just jamming during our
I must say the tempos were remarkably consistent. I mean, it didn't waver at all.
Yeah, considering y'all hadn't played together in such a long time, I was really intrigued how the trombones in particular were able to just kind of meld, like, and let each other take a lick, you know.
They did a very nice job, but just to explain it a little bit, that's sort of what they're accustomed to doing. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, trombones always seem to get the best lines, you know.
That was fun.
It's about
They're
time
always
for
at the-
Ira to show up. I wonder if he's
They're
gonna
always
make
at the front of the parade too, you know? They're
Yeah.
always at the front of the parade. You have to put them in the front of the parade because if you
Yeah.
put them in the back, they start to jab each other with the things with their spies.
Yeah. And goose each other, huh? Yeah, I
Which is,
remember
that gave birth to the tailgate trombone, by the way, because the trombone player had to sit on the tailgate because of the slide.
yeah.
What's up?
Hello, Rick.
Hey, Rick.
Hello, am I
We
here?
thought you
I
were
don't see you.
Ira. We thought you were
You can
Ira.
call me Ira
Yeah,
for
because
the
it's
day.
Ira's time.
It's
Yeah.
almost Ira time. Yeah.
Well, there I am.
No, but
Yeah,
talking about the
usually-
trombones, I remember
yeah.
you also talked about the guy who lost his slide during one of the shows, you know.
No, that was the woman. Not Banu, but
Banu had mentioned
Christine.
somebody. Yeah, or Christine
Christine lost her slide
during one of the songs.
and
Okay.
hit somebody in the head.
Well,
I mean, it's one thing to drop your pick, but you know, losing your slide, I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Give her a free picture of beer, she'd be fine. You know, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I missed the one when Christine came on. You're gonna have to pull up some clips from that time one of these days.
Okay.
When you got nothing else to do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, I worked on a documentary about DC music once, and we went to the United House of Prayer, and they have trombone bands there. They're trying to keep the kids off the street.
Sure.
And I'll tell you what, you get two of these bands together with about 10 trombones in each one. It was like a game show. It was so much fun.
Oh my goodness.
And my wife said, I know the service started at 7:00 on a Saturday night. She said, well, what time you be home? I said, oh, probably by 11. It starts at 7. 4:00 in the morning, they finally shut down.
Wow.
Good Lord.
And people had babies in their arms, but the music was so good. It was so much fun.
How many trombones were there all together?
Well, there were two trombone bands, so there were like 20 trombones.
Oh my goodness.
It was loud and it was rocking, and they had a reverend, and it was like a game show host. He would get everything going and then he'd bring it back down and get it going. And I had a ball.
Is it in Washington?
Yeah.
We have a
They have
thing,
United House of Prayers all over the country.
Yeah, that was
They're
in Washington.
usually in very poor areas, and they're big into, people don't have cars, and they're big into having buses, and they take people on these trips, and they're really trying to keep people occupied from from the kids ending up with a life of crime and stuff. They're very
Wow.
good churches.
Well, that's good. That's
we have
interesting.
a thing, we have a thing out here called Tuba Christmas, and it's sponsored by, it started by Bill Clark, and you wouldn't believe the din. There was all kinds of bass instruments out there.
Mm. Yeah. Did any of y'all ever watch the show Tremor when it was out?
Yeah.
A little bit of it.
Yeah. One of the protagonists in it was a trombone player. He actually did Wendell Pierce, but he didn't really play trombone himself, except he picked it up, but they had a lot of, like Freddie Lonzo was in it one
Freddie?
episode,
Yeah.
and so a lot of local trombonists ended up in it. And part of his struggle was trying to segue from playing traditional jazz trombone into the modern jazz. Wendell Pierce character, he just couldn't quite get it. So I prefer traditional myself. To me, like a lot of times the modern sounds like they're just tuning up, just like
It's too cerebral, and that's why it's not so popular. You got to think too much. Traditional jazz is basically the country music of the jazz world. It's simple stuff. Ordinary people can understand it, and that's the selling point.
I don't think they should have called modern jazz jazz. It was just
Modern jazz is 100 years old. It started in 1925 and 30.
Yeah.
I guess the first bebop bands were in like late 30s, right? That's when Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker and all that stuff got together.
Yeah.
All those guys got together. The big stuff was early 40s. I think it started in the late 30s. So, the modern jazz ain't so modern,
Yeah. Yeah. I like the old traditional jazz and the fact that you can listen to the same song, the same guys doing it twice, and you're not going to hear it the same way.
That's all true.
They traditionally not going to, I think it kind of fits New Orleans because that's the way New Orleans cooks too. Like if you
Oh, yeah.
cook, you can cook
Definitely.
jambalaya or gumbo or something, you're not going to make it twice the same way. You know, there's no, set way to do it. You just, throw it out there. It's like playing jazz when you cook down here.
Well, if you're making gumbo, I'm on the next plane.
Oh, yeah. We have several good recipes for gumbo.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely.
Love gumbo.
Lovely. Mm.
Yeah, I like seafood gumbo, but I also like it with chicken and sausage too,
Absolutely.
But you can basically, anything you got handy is what goes in gumbo, except maybe tofu. No tofu.
No tofu. No.
Tofu gumbo.
Gumbo. I love it.
Actually, Chris is going to try to figure out how to have a
Tofu's
recipe.
fine, but not in gumbo. Tofu's fine, but there's better things to go in gumbo.
Oh yeah, no, you pretty much anything. Tweet it. Let me see what this is all about.
What are you,
Like the
Chris?
Shriners
What are you
are
cooking
next.
tonight? What are you cooking tonight, Chris? What are you cooking?
I'm making like Asian chicken with cashews in lettuce wraps,
Sounds great. Sounds great.
Interesting.
That's Cambodian, isn't it, or Vietnamese, perhaps?
There's a restaurant chain that does it, and it's so popular that if you look online and you just look up lettuce wraps, you'll find a recipe for it. And it's real simple. It's just chicken and you just cook it up and season it with hoisin and soy and some ginger and garlic and some rice wine vinegar, which gives it a little bit of tang and bite. And then you can put sriracha in it, but my wife doesn't like that, so I just put it on mine.
Oh, sriracha. You got to watch that stuff. It's pretty potent.
Oh yeah.
Or as my Italian friend would say, that shit would blow the asshole off a Mexican.
I have to remember that one. I like that one.
For a while, I was having trouble with my squirrel eating the bird seed. So somebody said to me, you got to put red pepper flakes in with your bird seed. It doesn't bother the birds, but it keeps the squirrels away. So I put it in there. The squirrel was just notching on it. He was just eating it. It turns out my squirrel was Mexican. Who knew?
It was obviously worth the trip.
Yeah, he must have started. He started rolling his R's and everything. Huh?
Yeah.
Ira. Hi, Ira.
Where the hell's Barry been? What, he
I
quit?
don't know that, but we said it's about time
He
for
had a job
Ira.
last week.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of guys we haven't seen in a while. I haven't seen Mike. I haven't seen Barry. I haven't seen Herb Roselle. I mean, they were pretty regular.
I was prepared for Ira to show up.
There's Ira. Hey, Ira.
Oh, that's not my shirt. Herb Roselle hasn't been on in a while.
Yeah.
Hasn't. I was worried about him.
Oh, speaking of ghosts, here comes Roger.
Hey.
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 Wow.
We hear you. We don't see you.
Hey,
There we
Roger.
go.
Roger.
Guys,
Hey,
I was
Roger.
thinking we hadn't seen you in a while. Good to see you.
Yeah.
nice to be seen.
Now we gotta stop talking about the Saints.
Oh, really?
Oh, please.
Oh, boy.
Sad story.
Yeah.
I feel sorry
Yeah.
for Sean.
If you lose to the Jets, just forget about it. There's hardly any. In fact, they were advertising for anybody that around New Orleans had a souvenir Saints jersey show up for the game because all their players are hurt or have COVID protocol right now.
When it rains, it pours. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Chris, what are you laughing? What are you laughing about? The Pittsburgh people aren't doing very well either.
Oh man, that's sad, aren't they?
Last night was really crazy. I mean, the last two games that they played were, crazy, and they won one of them and lost one of them. But I gotta say, it was pretty entertaining.
Yeah,
The end of that game last night was just unreal.
When I gave up after 23-0, I just said, "Okay, let me do something else."
Pittsburgh almost came back and tied it, but
Yeah.
Well, Big Ben's going to retire. He's retiring this year.
I watched that game, Chris.
And he
Crazy.
He needs to check it out.
I have a little clip from the 50th reunion, and I didn't start it right at the beginning of the story, and it's kind of hard to hear all of it, but it's talking about the Keith Yorkston contest. So this is for mature audiences.
It's
Did
not
you all have
video.
Keith Yorkston
Well-
contests in your clubs?
No,
Probably
Keith
not.
Yorkston was a New Orleans waiter. I don't think they did
Yeah.
that. Let's see. There you go. I had it. There it is. Yeah, and I didn't get the very beginning of the story. I was moving my camera around, so I apologize for that.
Showed old time movies. And in the back of the room, everybody was facing the stage, so they looked at the stage, and I was on one of them looking at the booth. And somebody who won the prize that year was getting laid in the.
No, no, no.
It's a true story, right?
That's a true story. Yeah, and one year it was under the buffalo.
Yeah.
1 year I had the box. 1 year in the beer cooler on the keg. It went on and on. It's called the Keith Yorkston Memorial Award because he was the first one to start it.
And Keith was an Australian waiter from Australia. In 1967, he took a young lady back and they made love on top of 2,000 mustache cups in the back storeroom. That's where the legend began.
Oh, let's hear it for it.
It was a hard job, but we all had to do it. So true.
Oh, my goodness.
The story is Joel was in the club the night that happened, and he, instead of like disciplining the waiter or anything, he gave him an award. And so it was a Mardi Gras prize every year, you know. So,
Yeah.
I made up a trophy. I had a big trophy I handed out.
yeah.
Yeah. I remember 1 year I was in the film projector booth 1 year. And
Yeah.
all kind of places.
Now that was a tricky one there because you had to get on a ladder to get up there.
Mm.
And it was just barely enough room for one, it was barely enough room for one person.
Yeah, we had a guy that used to stay up there all the time in that booth, and he would never come down. He'd bring his homework from down to I guess Tulane or whatever, and he would sit up there and do his homework, and he would keep changing the movies and everything. And one time he moved out a little too far out of the booth up into the ceiling, and he fell down right on top of people and everything.
Oh, Lord.
And sometimes he'd fall asleep and you had to throw something up at him to wake him up.
Well, go ahead. My first year there, I think Will Soto won it under the Buffalo.
Buffalo, that's right.
And
I was sitting right next to him and didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
They're called the Wild Buffalo Run.
I think he also got the clap from that one.
Oh.
Who did?
Will.
Will.
That's when he starts singing the song, I'd rather have the measles than the clap.
Oh,
Lord. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It was.
yeah. So none of the other clubs, I guess, had a contest like that. I don't know.
well, no, New Orleans had a lot of secret contests. We were the largest outlet of free beer of all the clubs.
Yeah, that's true. They used to leave the taps on at night.
After hours parties, we consume more food than all.
Yeah, they would leave the taps open for us, and we would just stay there until we wanted to go home. You know. No, the annual Leaders Ball would go on about once a week. We would just give out tickets at the front door to young ladies and say, "Come back after work for the annual Waiters Ball."
That was a great way to meet people. You kidding? That was a setup for getting your date. I met a lot of nice people that way.
You did.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I remember one night, Roger, that one of the strippers from up the street, a rather nice looking young lady, comes in because you had a date with her, and she's sitting at the bar and we're all talking to her. But,
Really?
yeah, I remember that.
Was she from the Silver Slipper?
No, she was from one of the other bars, but she was a nice looking lady.
I remember the first time I met Sandra Sexton walking down the street. I didn't know it was a guy, because all you saw was the pictures of Sandra Sexton. and came walking down the street, decked out with the, and I said, "Oh, hello," I was tipping my little mustache hat to her, and she says, "Hi there." I was like 19, in fact, I would ask people for IDs. I think when I was 19 working there, I looked like I was 12, and so I'd ask people for their IDs and they'd ask me for mine,
Really?
Well, New Orleans was 18, wasn't it 18?
Yeah.
New
Yeah.
Orleans was
When
18.
I was working, it was 18. Yeah.
So when I was working as a bartender. I turned 21 and I had to fly to St. Louis so my father could buy me my first legal drink. And then I had to fly back to New Orleans to work the bar that night.
Come on.
Everything seemed to be legal in New Orleans at one time.
But then when we had kids and they were having parties and stuff, we had to make that adjustment because my wife and I both were thinking of 18. And our niece was having a sorority party at our house. And then they had a keg of beer. And before the kids got there, my wife said, "Do you realize these kids are underage?" I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "They're not 21. I go, "Oh, fuck."
Look,
I started watering the plants with the beer.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
Like age 18, and also the fact that you could walk out on the streets with your drinks in New Orleans. When I moved to Texas, I took a job in the Dallas area after living in New Orleans my whole life, and asking for a Go Cup when I was in this bar in Dallas on Greenville Avenue. I need a Go Cup. And he says, "What do you mean a Go Cup?" I said, "You pour the rest of my drink in a cup." And I said, "You can't walk out here with a drink." So I had to stand there by the door and finish my martini, look, and get out there.
That's a strange habit you get into, though, living in New Orleans. If you move or go to another city, when you first get there, you just assume, "Oh, okay, I could take my Go Cup and go outside and chat with my friends and drink my beer or whatever."
Yeah.
Then you finally realize, well, that New Orleans wasn't part of reality. So,
and of course, the drive-in margarita stands. I mean, the legislature has a law that if you get stopped with a margarita in your car, as long as the cap is down, you're okay.
Really?
Really?
But I think the age, I really do think the drinking age should go back to 18 because
it might as well.
You might as well.
After when you're 18, seriously, and you can vote when you're 18. I don't know.
Go to the Army, whatever.
They had in Kansas, you could drink when you're 18, and I was I think 17 or 18, and Fred and I were in school together, so we'd drive across the border into Kansas because we're right on the line. But the beer was 3-2.
Yeah.
Oh,
3-2 beer.
Oh, it's horrible.
Near beer, they call it, or whatever.
Near beer.
Yeah.
Near beer, yeah, right.
Near beer.
Near beer.
So why bother? I mean, seriously.
We kept drinking it. The next day, though, gives you a terrible hangover, not a good feeling.
Well, it causes you to pee a lot.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting very much alcohol.
No, it's true. But everybody seemed to do those things. So you're from Missouri, Tom, right? Did you ever do that? Were you close to Kansas or?
What, the 3-2 beer?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, all the time. And University of Missouri used to just serve it. And, most of the kids don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go get a beer. And I think it's, in Missouri on Sunday, that's all they could serve was 3-2.
That's right.
And I think it's, like, I don't know, like you said, if you could serve in the service and do a lot of things at 18, you should be able to drink.
I have a cold beer, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
I remember when I was in the Army, we got 3-2 beer at Fort Dix, but at Fort Devens, you could get regular beer. I think it probably was a case of Devens being a training post, and most of the kids were young. But 3-2 beer is kind of nowhere. Today, these beers are 5 and 6%. I mean, it's sort of
some of them are 7.
Oh yeah, so IPAs. Some of those IPAs are strong.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. We're going back to the small breweries now. In the beginning, it used to be small breweries everywhere, and the big boys came and took them out. And
there's Fred.
What a group.
Part of the New Orleans contingent that they.
Yeah. Well, you talked about Fred, so I went and found the Fred picture.
Yeah.
I miss
Fred, good man.
Yeah.
We had a lot of stories to share. That's a
Roger, did you ever find anything from the drunkard? You said you were going to look for it.
Oh, you know, I'm going through boxes now. I have an article. Fred made up a newspaper he sent out. What was that called?
Mustache
Nose?
Mustache Nose or something? What was it? Is that
Yeah,
right?
nose, yeah.
Yeah. And there's an article about that. Then there's a small article with a picture of Alex Miller in it, doing some stuff. I guess
David was in the drunkard too, weren't you, David?
Yeah, I was the villain.
Well, what happened when you got out, the drunkard? You're still a villain. David took that part very serious.
Yeah. Wow.
Boy. David, is the weather nice and wintry where you are?
No, not right now. We're in a little, got up to 60 today. So it's just, it's nice, but it'll get colder again. Yeah.
It's okay when the
We had our
snow.
first snow of the year.
Well, this isn't the newspaper, but this is the world's worst banjo band.
Yeah.
I have a copy of the newspaper, the Mustache Nose, it's called.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There you go. 126 Bourbon Street.
All you can drink for $3. Holy Toledo.
That's a Friday afternoon.
Yeah,
Wow.
that started in Denver, that FAC. And the idea was, we'd have these people in there, they'd be drinking, having a good time.
$1 for women. Jeez.
Yeah, $1.
And then when the band came on, we'd have a full house. Well, that didn't work out at all. People get so drunk. We actually had to close and clean the mess up and get people out and then start over again.
Yeah, because when you can sell them any beer at $3.25 a pitcher after they just are pie-eyed for drinking for 3 hours, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had the band come on and play Feelings for about a half hour and then give them
Feeling. Wow.
Yeah.
That's why I used to dislike playing on New Year's Eve, because they would have this
There it
thing
is.
where, you know, all your drinks were included in one price, and people would start out by saying, "I'll have 6 whiskeys," you know, and they would just like
Chug
No,
them down, huh?
chug them down. So by 11 o'clock, they couldn't see. Never mind sing along or anything. Totally blotto.
Yeah.
I hated New Year's Eve.
We're still going. Yeah, we're just got some pictures.
Oh, Mustache Nose.
How's Bonnie?
I think that's the only issue that came out. It says issue 6.
Yeah.
We got a picture of
They had a few of them.
that's the old Mustache Nose. Yeah.
Get us some sandwiches.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
I'm going to buzz off, guys, and I'll see you next week.
Okay, Chris.
Thank you,
Chris.
I need to go pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm
too.
gonna head out, guys.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to run
Next
myself.
Friday.
Yeah,
Same
thanks for
back
coming.
time, same back channel.
All right.
Take care, guys.
See you
See
guys.
you guys next week.
I've got some more
Bye-bye.
music clips and all I can
Take
pull
care.
up next week.